Hi, my name is Joe Salvani, and I serve with Coram Deo Ministries. For as long as I can remember, God has just given me a desire in my heart to serve people, the underdogs, the undeserved, the underprivileged. And in my first career as a police officer, I've been given many opportunities to be able to serve people in that capacity. After retiring, God had something different for me, to serve the people overseas and locally through missions. And I'm thankful for that. We're about to take a look at a couple of trips that Northside has just recently taken. The first in New York City with the New York School of Urban Ministry. And a whole bunch of Northsiders were serving the homeless, street evangelism, and praying over people that were very less fortunate. The second in Mexico, in the Yucatan Peninsula, where we had a bunch of doctors and nurses and people from Northside serving those people that needed medical needs that would never have gotten them. Both trips very unique, both trips very different, but both serving the Lord. Take a look.
Hello, my name is Krista Hammond.
And my name is Tavio Hammond.
And we took a short-term mission trip to NYSUM, New York School of Urban Ministry, to serve the homeless in the city. I decided to go on this mission trip because I have a heart for the underdog, and I want to foster an environment in my family where we are looking to see a need and fill a need, and so we're looking to be servants.
And God really taught me how to slow down and just interact with people like they're people and not just some things on the side of the street that need help. So at Penn Station was one of the places we went to, and we really spent most of our time with this one person. His name was Mike, and he went through a lot in life, and he didn't want us to pray with him in case we saw him doing stuff later.
Mike was one that we met when we were really tired, so it was, we actually went out after bedtime to Penn Station, and this was at the end of the trip, and we had all been asleep for a lot less than we were awake. So our hearts were having to work hard to be servants. You know, we had been rejected by a few that didn't really want our conversations, and so we kind of felt like we were done when we met Mike, and his story was a story that seems to be one we heard over and over again, where one mistake led to a situation where he just kept seeing how the world was wronging him. And so we had a good conversation about how there's redemption and there is grace and forgiveness, and how sometimes people in the world aren't the best showers of that. And so we were able to talk long with Mike, and that we just encouraged him that God has a plan for him, and we pray that he continues to seek it, and we would be his cheerleaders and his prayer warriors toward that dream.
Hi, I'm Nadine Hogue.
And my name's Steve Hogue, and we went on the medical missions trip to Mexico recently. Actually, I'd always wanted to go on a medical missions trip. Ever since medical school, I wanted to be able to use my skills to be used by the Lord obviously in the States, but also abroad.
One of the days I was sitting in Steve's little clinic and observing he and the interpreter and this older woman, and she was going over her ailments, and kind of towards the end when she was done talking, and Steve just kind of looks at me and says, "Give me your glasses." So I took my glasses off my head, my readers, and gave him the glasses, and he proceeded to put them on the lady's face, and he asked her to read the paper in front of her, and you could just see her eyes light up and her face beam like it was Christmas. And so when they were done talking and discussing everything, she got up and she went to give me my glasses back, and I said, no, you keep them. And she hugged me so tight and just whispered in my ear in Spanish, "May God bless you," over and over. And that was pretty cool.
And I think anytime you're putting yourself out there for the Lord and for the Lord's service. So a missions trip is you're donating your time, your talents, you're going away from your family, and you're serving in a place that typically is a little uncomfortable for you. That never comes back void. We know that when we say yes to these things, we are going to be the ones who are able to be used by God to bless others, and we also are blessed and grow incredibly in the process. So I feel like for any Northsiders that are even considering missions, the Lord will speak with you. There's plenty of opportunities, and you will never be disappointed in what God can do in you and through you during these missions trips. So highly encourage it.
You know, in Matthew 28, God gives us a mandate called the Great Commission. And that's not an option. It's something that we are to do. We are called to serve. And at Northside, we have many opportunities for you to serve. You know, I think of some of the trips that are coming up in 2025. Kenya, Africa, working with school children. Puerto Rico, working with orphan children, and many others. So I ask that you take a deep look into your heart, and I ask that you bring it to Jesus and ask, where can you be used here at Northside? There are many opportunities, so I ask that you pray and consider going.